Hey.
Hey.
Chad, what episode is this, Chad?
Episode number 114.
Nice.
We're getting up there.
Dang.
Yeah. Might be a good time for a farewell SlapperCast.
Yeah.
We'll reunite next week and do another one.
There we go.
Right.
Yeah.
The final.
This is our last
first
one until the next one.
The first farewell episode.
Yeah.
So I see we have people signing up for reward music. We've got almost every day there's another name popping in, so starting to pick up some steam.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's that's nice to see. We're Paul sent the final mix yesterday, so we're going to be mastering our record pretty soon. I'm doing an interview today, which will air next week. We'll put a link up to it. I'm doing it's called Expat Radio with our friend Joe Walmsley from Liverpool, but he's in San Antonio. I listened to it. He had a guy on last week that was the like a security business kind of thing, but he was working with Daniel Craig. He's worked with U2. He's worked with a bunch of people. So he's had some great guests on there, and he's about to sing today. So we got Expat Radio with Joe Walmsley. We're going to have that today, and we were just talking before the record button hit about how everything is starting to rumble. The ground's starting to shake. Stuff's starting to happen.
Yeah, it's good. Good feeling.
True.
Yeah. What was it like being back home at the Continental?
Very nice. Yeah, it was fantastic. It was like going home after a long absence. Of course, we've been in that backyard several times during the pandemic to do live streams, thanks to the generosity of Pete Gordon letting us in the gate. But this is the first time we actually had a full audience in front of us. It was great. Aluba did a fantastic job on sound. Lori and Kirsten were there selling our gear. So all we had to worry about that show was just setting up our instruments and playing the music, which is really nice.
Yeah, Patrick Brennan knocked the roof off too. We brought a saxophone up, and I had talking to some people before the show and saying, yeah, a friend of ours coming in, he's going to do some sax. They're like, saxophone? No, just no. And then I saw them afterwards. They were like, oh, fuck yeah. He tore it up. He's great. We'll have some more. We'll have some more of that later on for sure.
Yeah, we got to.
He played on just the right songs too. I mean, and everything he played was just like, oh yeah, that totally works. 100% works. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great crowd. Good to see some old friends, see some new friends. Bob Schultz was there, so it was nice to get him out. Him and Andrew were out. I don't know if you know those guys or not, but they basically built the building across the street, and they have their offices there. And Andrew lives above the Continental, so that's family to us as well.
Andrew Rice and Bob Schultz are the main money that just gold, man. It really is. It's such a great family. I said it on the stage there too. I said it on the gig that it was, that place is so special to me because I was able to, to serve their first drink at the Continental Club and watch it go from, obviously the Continental Club in Austin is a landmark, and it will always be the stepping stone for so many huge names in all sorts of music. But the one in Houston is my favorite because A, it's in Houston, and B, watching it go from as minuscule as it was to this powerhouse of, and like I said many, many times, they do not, they don't run out and buy, get talent that's hammering the neighborhood. They go out and they get it from all over. Mm-hmm. We've seen Southern culture on the skids there. We've seen the guys from Russia. What was the
Red
Elvises? Oh my God. Yeah. So many brilliant shows there. The guy from Squeeze, we saw Glenn Tilbrook there. We saw, just so many. Anyway, so they're only open in the back right now, but the bar is slamming. They've got everything back there. Weather is absolutely perfect right now. We got we got Luba every Wednesday doing the acoustic thing. Then we got Beetle on Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday we got all sorts of bands coming in, and just Continental Club Houston. Look them up, hook them up, drink them up, man. It's gonna be
there. You go.
Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to next time there. That was very cool.
I was talking to Good Time, I think after the show for a minute, and I hadn't seen him since Christmas, and when we had a little socially distanced thing on his front lawn, and he was saying how much he likes the band now, the new version of the band, and then I just casually said, "So hey man, did you get some shots?" And he's like, "Oh no, I'm not doing that." And for a second I thought, "What?" And then I realized he's talking about. He's like, no, I have to drive. And it was one of those things that just really, really struck me as being super funny, because the entire world is talking about, shots. And here's John thinking like, it's party time. I'm out working. It's great. We're back at work. Let's party. But I can't because I got to drive. I'm like, no, you dummy. Shots in the arm. So fun little conversation. I was just like, really? But that's apparently great. He is getting his shots in the arm, so he'll be fine in a couple of weeks. So
they have to. They're all front line. Those guys are seeing more people, and they will, continue to see. Hopefully they're going to see more people than anybody in that block.
Yeah,
forever. So,
and the pizza place is they've already started cleaning out the old Windburn mess hall, and Home Slice Pizza from Austin will be moving in there, hopefully up and ready in a couple months. So. And they'll have a window into the courtyard, so you can just walk over and get a slice or whatever you want while you're listening to great music at the Continental.
Yeah,
excited.
I want to go crash Luba's gig one of these Wednesdays, and just go in and he writes some incredible stuff. He's like Chad said, he did a great job on our sound. So I want to go back and
support.
He's great.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we didn't talk about Round Rock, Cork and Barrel too. Seeing that crew from Austin that we haven't seen forever. Now there was a bit of a mix up there, and again, we you have to put this down to just growing pains and baby steps and all the rest. But because of the our crowd coming out, and because of the weather and everything, and the new that new car smell or that new club smell. The place is going to be mobbed for a while. So they had said that there was no reservations needed for the patio. That wasn't true. The patio is completely reserved and sold out, and there's no chart. But so there's no room in the patio. Inside is completely nuts. Wait all night. So people were coming just expecting to be able to sit in the patio and drink. That's not the case. So hopefully we're going to be back there in May and June, July, on and on and on. But just the confusion had been that there was going to be, you were just going to be able to go out and sit in the patio. That's not the case. So next time we announce the date, hopefully, like I say, hopefully May and June, July. Just if you're in the surrounding areas, just make sure that you call them and reserve your spot, because it's well worth it. The staff, the food, the surroundings, everything. There was nothing wrong. I had no complaints. I couldn't find, and I looked, I looked hard to find something. Nothing. Mm-hmm. So
high marks from everybody who came out. Of course, they're apart from the seating problem that Patrick just described. All our regular fans and friends up there who came to see us are in love with the place. Said, you've got to come back here. The club liked us. We liked the club. No noise complaints from the neighboring houses. That is huge for a new venue like that, to not have to worry about the law coming in, giving them a hassle when they're trying to get their feet wet. So that's going to be a really cool place to play, because we haven't had a regular place in Austin since 2018.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have words with Greg and Terry Leach too. They're just the generosity, of all our friends. It's, just they're awaiting their second shot and waiting to be, bulletproof like us, so they can come out. But we're gonna have to have words with them.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very much appreciated. And Chris Buckley did a great job.
Yeah.
And by the time you hear this, he'll have played with us in O'Bannon's College Station. And looking forward to doing that again. And it looks like a little cabin fever set in with baby bucks. So he might be jumping in the van a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
Yeah, he did great. Great.
He's a fun hang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Eric, switch of subjects here. We talked about Iron Man, the autobiography of Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath last week.
Yes.
And so I had a thought after we were talking about it, and I wonder if there's an audiobook, because I love listening to audiobooks, especially when they're read by the author. Bruce Springsteen, Pete Townsend did his. So I went and looked it up, and there is an audiobook version. However, Tony does not read it.
Does not.
Do you know who reads it? I
forgot, because he says in the book who read the book, and I can't remember who it is.
It's somebody. Well, actually, I'm trying to see if you can guess this, because I told Patrick this. He was like, "What?"
Right over there. It's who is it? It's somebody. It's not Nico, is it? No,
you're getting warm.
It's somebody.
It's somebody you love, who's a drummer, who's English. Yeah. And he's actually also from Birmingham.
Oh, it's Bev Bevan.
There you go.
That's right. I remember now. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw that. I was like, I said read by Bev Bevan. I was like, what? Like, is that? My first thought was it's got to be a voice actor who just happens to have the same name, who just reads audiobooks. No, it's him, and I think it's the only audiobook he's ever done, and he does a great job. He's so good at it.
Yeah, I got to check it out. Yeah, he played with Black Sabbath for a hot minute on the Born Again tour.
Right.
And since they're from Birmingham, it's funny how just in that book, he just casually says, "Oh yeah, my buddy this, my buddy that." And you got to realize that if you're in the music scene in a certain city, you probably know a bunch of the same musicians. And to think that, it was Bev Bevan and Ian Gillan was that particular incarnation of Black Sabbath at the time. And I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to see them when they came around. I was a kid. I think I was a freshman in high school, and they came to Portland. And I think Quiet Riot was the opening band for that particular tour. So I think it was Quiet Riot and Black. Yeah, well, you gotta start somewhere. But a huge fan of Bev, obviously. And then he went on to do ELO Part 2, which they got sued for. Then they called themselves something else, and now I think he's got a new version of The Move. If they're playing anything right now, there's a newer version of The Move kind of out there playing shows here and there. But Tony was he's on the Birmingham Musicians Walk of Fame or whatever. They have their own little kind of Walk of Fame out there, and Tony was instrumental in no pun intended, I think in getting Bev to be part of that as well. So they've been really, really good friends for a long, long time.
Yeah. I'm just wondering how I'm guessing the publisher saying, "So Tony, can you come in and do the audiobooks?" No, call Bev. He sounds just like me.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I guess he says it in the book. Does he mention it in the afterword or something?
That he sounds like him, or?
Yeah. Does he say why Bev?
I think it's because he's a mate, as he said it. He just said that my mate, Bev did it, or wanted to do it, and it's a good choice. I mean, yeah. I got to check that out now.
Yeah, they do have similar voices, low baritone speaking voice.
Yeah, we'll have to
that Brummie dialect too. Sorry, Pat.
On the way to College Station.
Yeah, for sure.
So still calling, still putting dates down for the summer and beyond, and. It looks like our Pennsylvania gig, Bethlehem, won't be happening, but we're still talking about going out there. So it looks like we may have a couple of long tours, long legs of these tours. So we're gonna be coming around. So check out our reward music for that. And like I said, we finished off. Let's say we put the final nails in the coffin of this new record. Which I'll be the first person that's asked. But Joe Walmsley had asked me, he goes, "Hey, what's the name of the record? I want to." So I guess I guess if nobody else objects, the name of the record is Blagmatic.
Yeah.
No the.
No. Yeah. And I will drop this news on Patreon and reward music people first, just so they know for everybody else. Yeah. So that's Patrick and I were talking about this name several weeks ago. I don't know, a couple months ago, maybe.
I remember it coming up in conversation here and there.
Yeah. It was one of those things. It was just like, it was similar to when we chose the band name too. It's like we said, I don't know, Blagmatic maybe. And the next day, I really like that name. It just kind of sticks to you after a while.
Well, you have to hold it for a little while. It's like writing a song. Yeah, you can like it on the Monday, and the Tuesday you can want to kill yourself because you don't want anybody to hear, in case anybody heard it,
Yeah.
So, and it's the same thing too. It was one of those. And the first, Chad had an idea of one of the lyrics from the record being chapstick and leather, being kind of tongue in cheek, silly, and I think that was going to be there was another name too. I can't recall another, but anyway.
Contrary was another one you've been throwing around. Yeah.
Yes. CUNT. Rary. Okay.
So contrary.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's pronounced contrary. It's like C apostrophe and tray. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that was the other one. Good memory. And then Blagmatic came up. And I was writing one day and I wrote it and I looked at it and I said, that's funny. That's kind of, and anyway, it stuck. And it was one of the things where I think it was the second or third day I called Chad. I said, what do you think? And then we all talked about it. And so nobody immediately went, nobody. So that's good. And then the second thing it was probably about the second thing. Our friend up in Omaha, Nebraska, which is, if you look at a map, it's where, I'm just kidding. You'll just see corn when you peel back the corn, and there it is. Our friend up there, whom I share many, many, many texts and conversations with, much to his chagrin, is I'd mentioned it to him on the phone call, and he laughed, and he was like, "Oh, and then that's when I said, this thing can stick. This thing can be." Anyway, so that was 40 minutes you won't get back, kids. So anyways, yeah, so the name of the record. And
so is it ready to go to mastering now? I know that vocal you just did on El Paso was the last thing we needed the track. So what else are we waiting on right now?
No, that's it. That's it. Yes, I'm gonna just just call them and just bring the vocal down a little bit on that one. But yeah, it's ready. The instruments sound great.
Yeah.
We've we'll get into this much later, but we have a special guest that plays on this song, and just killed it, just in a great way.
Yeah,
amazing job.
Yeah, so, it's. I think this track is going to blow people's minds. I mean, I think the album's going to blow people's minds, but this. I was really excited about this song when Patrick first brought it to us as something where we're possibly going to turn into a completed piece, and to hear when Paul sent us the mix yesterday, it was yesterday, right? Of the new vocal, that Patrick went in and just retracked everything. And I was just walking around listening to it, pumping my fist, going, yes, that's it. It's so fucking good.
It's, and Paul Beebe, whom we've been speaking about now for years, but he's Paul's great in that he is the three of us get very, very close to these songs, and when you're so close, there's only so much you can see, hear, feel, so it's difficult to move around. And Paul, to his credit, is very in tune with, and it doesn't matter if he's mixing a folkies thing or he's mixing a pop or but he has a great ear, and he's got a great just a way of piecing this stuff. So I'd sung it on a scratch track on, when we were just messing around and I putting the idea down, I had sung it different, and he had remembered that was the way that he liked it, the way that I'd done it first time. Then it kind of changes. Like I say, you get so close to a song that you don't even know, and I certainly don't record it at home, which I should be listening to it. And, but anyway, so I gone into the studio and sang it a different way again yesterday. And he said, hey, why don't you come back and do it like this? And we restructured stuff on the spot, which was, it's unnerving because I'd gone in there thinking, okay, this is how I'm going to do it. And then you get pushed into another lane and you really enjoy it. You really enjoy the.
Yeah. when I was listening to it, because it's great the way it starts. You start throwing in variations, like I don't know, was it the second or third verse that weren't there before? Because first, I thought the last take you did was really good, and that one I thought he was like, I don't know what he's going to do to improve on that, but then you did. You're talking about there were different variations in the melody that you threw in about halfway through the song, and then of course there was that. You went into the main objective of the re-recording, in addition to just redoing the whole thing, was to do the high harmonies, right? So there's this high part at the end that both Paul and I were excited about that you had done on the scratch vocal when we initially did the tracks, and now that's back. That was one of those moments. Was like, yeah, at the very end, it's very, very good.
Well, I went in to put the vocals on last week, or no, excuse me, at the beginning of March. Was that? Yeah, it was right before. Yeah, it was right at the beginning of March, and figured out that I had lost the whole upper range of my voice. Everything was gone, and it was unbeknownst to me because I had no sore throat, no symptoms. Everything felt great, And I'd gone in there, and I'd figured out when I went in there, and it sounded like like I was being choked. You get to that note, and so we went through again. I think this has been a recurring thing, but I think it's March that my voice decides to leave. It decides, well, I'm going to take the month off. You just go and scream your brains out because I'm not going to help, So that's when I figured out that I couldn't do it. So we waited till, I had that part back. And actually, but that's, so it's finally done. So,
yeah.
So good.
Well, anyway, yeah. Cool. Yeah. So we have our friend Vicente used to, I'm not sure how he pronounced his last name because we usually call him Dorian, which is his pirate Sherwood name. He's working on the entire layout of this album. So I haven't seen, none of us have seen this yet. Really anxious to see what he's doing with it. So that's going to be really cool. Vicente is he's the art director for HEB.
Was.
Oh, he left? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But he's also worked with Guinness. He's worked with a lot of really big names. So to have somebody of his caliber working on this record is something I'm very thrilled for.
Blaggard fans will know him from our Blaggard T-shirt with the forest and the silhouettes being us and the
in the shape of the skull. Yeah.
Dorian's done that one. That was his work, and we're we've also stayed at his home. We've swam in his neighbor's pool. We've had all kinds of experience with, and they're just as generous and as wonderful as all our people. But we're just really lucky to have them in our corner, as they say. Eric, you look like you're breaking the law somehow. What's going on down there? Okay, cut it out, Chad. Cut it out.
I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm learning.
Yeah. Yeah, so now the hard work begins. Now we got to write the follow-up record.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So what else is going on? We've got Grapevine. And Arlington.
That's this Friday, Saturday. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Friday in Arlington and Saturday in Grapevine.
Yeah, and Saturday is going to be fun because our friend Michael Logan, he was the main guy involved in the Sherman Celtic Festival, which we only did the 2 years that they were open, which they were of course canceled last year, and they're working really, really hard on trying to get sponsorship to make this year fly. But Michael he's working with a fiddle player up in Dallas, and they are called River Driver, and they're going to be playing with us. Michael called me up and he said, "Hey, is there any room on there?" I said, I've seen your stuff. I know I know that he's a great sound guy, but he's also a good bass player, great guitar player, great singer. So I knew that he wasn't going to be a dog. You're not going to get somebody up there just, singing Whiskey in the Jar. This guy knows his stuff. And the fiddle player he's working with, the name escapes me, but great player. And they're just they sound great. They're not doing, like I say, they're not doing this the regular crap. So I immediately thought of when we do a Kima festival and we do stuff like that, having somebody like that come in that's not only a great player but also good ear, able to help with the sound and blah blah blah. So we're really excited about working with them. And Doug, the guy that's putting on the Highland Games up in on Lake Grapevine, I mean, this is going to be his first time doing it. So we're really excited about getting this thing off the ground. Excuse me, I'm sneezing again. So yeah, we're that's going to be great, and it's going to be like Austin. It's going to be great to see our friends that we haven't seen in so long up in the Dallas area.
Yeah. Night before that too, we're going to be in Arlington, nearby at Mavericks. Yeah. So we've already been hearing from some of our Dallas friends. I'm going to see you there. So yeah, that's going to be great. We also have, not too long from now, a gig in Richmond at Scotty Saloon. It's another new venue.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. I've had some friends that have played there. Have you played there, Eric?
Mm-mm. Not yet. I think I'm playing there with you guys in a few weeks.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be the one in the hat.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, lots of stuff coming up. Like the phone's been ringing as far as gigs go. We've been definitely talking, and we're hoping to get all the way over to the East Coast as well this summer, because like I said, it's great being vaccinated. It's such a relief, versus where we've been for the last year and a half. It feels like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be nice to get back up there and go to Eric's old stomping grounds too, and maybe even stop in at Chad's birthplace, Bethlehem.
Are your parents vaccinated now, Eric?
Yeah, they are fully, and they're done. They're done. It's all good.
Good.
As of yesterday, they were 2 weeks, and today's my 2 weeks. So
yeah,
I'm ready to party like it's 1999 plus 20 something.
Write that down.
Yeah, it's been really before, until recently, my mother and I hadn't hugged each other since a year ago.
Hey, this is a kid's show.
Keep it in the family though, Pat.
Not only am I comfortable, actually visiting her for real now, actually going in her house, but we've resumed our weekly tradition of going to dinner every Tuesday night. So that's in addition to all the shows we played recently, that's another thing that's kind of been aiding my mental health. The fact that a little bit of normalcy coming back again. It's
nice to see her out at the Continental too.
Yeah. That was the first live show she'd come to see, I think. So that was
Good.
Again, meant the world.
Yeah.
Meant the world.
Yeah. It's great to, well, I don't care if it brings anybody down or not, but end on a sad note. Our friend David Carr passed away Wednesday.
Yeah, it's just yesterday. Yeah, for us.
Yeah. His brother Mike called me, and he called me the day before that and told me that he was, everything was shutting down, went into hospice and whatnot.
Yeah. When you said that, this is what happened to my uncle recently, who went in for a surgery and things went wrong, and there wasn't much more they could do for him, so they were putting him in hospice. But he held on. Michael Wayne held on for another 2 weeks or something. So my mom was able to actually talk to him a couple of times when he was pretty alert. So when I heard the news that David was going in, I was like, man, I hope we can talk to him, maybe visit him or something. And then the very next morning, Patrick texted me and said, no, he's gone. So that really sucked. The timing of it was just too fast. But,
yeah, Mike had told me when he was trying to, when David had also recently had his second shot and was making plans to come see a Blaggards show. So, Mike had called me and actually told me that, and so we were excited about it, and excited, but still he knew it was grim. He knew that there wasn't a great result awaiting. So, and then he texted me the next day and told me. So we're going to miss him. Yeah,
big time. You want to say you knew David and his brother Billy and Mike much longer than I have. Of course, I knew them a long time too. But you want to say a little bit about how important that family was to the Irish community? Yeah,
well, and again, I'm a little bitter right now, a little pissed off, a little upset with the David thing. But the Irish community thing doesn't have the same meaning as it does in a lot of places around the country. Like you see the Irish, the Kansas City Irish Festival. You see the I used to live in Florida, I lived in Boston, lived in all these places. And that community seemed like a much tighter knit, less bickering, less, well, they do this and they believe this and they go to that. And then, and the Irish, our community here in Houston is very different in that a recent example was Pimlico. I talked to Kevin McElroy from Dublin, and he was saying, yeah, the Irish just don't come out. I said, I know. I said, we're living. Now, you don't have to be you don't have to go to an Irish pub if you're Irish. You can go to anywhere you want. It's been a free country for a while. So, but I say all that because that we have Irish Airs, which is a KPFT, and a great weekly radio show, and it keeps a lot of people connected and whatnot. But there's the Aim Infinities, who owns all the Molly's pubs, and Brian McNamara, lawyer, and these guys do a lot of work. They've always got their hand in their pocket to give. They haven't got their hand in their pocket to protect what they have. They're always giving. Same thing with the Carrs. They are always supporting every bloody Irish thing that they can put, get out. And they started day one with us, with my first band, On the Dole. Somebody had leaned over and said, the Carr brothers are here. What? What's wrong with you? What are you talking about? What do you, And it only took one handshake, and you look in their eyes and you see that they're not there because it's an Irish thing. It's there because they wanted to hear Irish music, and the fact that we did rebel songs and 90% of the stuff was rebel songs, that just lit them. And they knew every word better than I did, because I have a bad habit of changing the lyrics on the fly, and usually, I always think my words are better. But they'd call me on it. They'd say, hey, that's not, James Joyce never did that. Devil Air never said that. Cuchulainn is, anyway. So they were first show, second show, third show, every single time that they could make it to come out. And then everybody that they met through us. We were talking just again before the mics came on. Eric, you had been they were at your first show with us. Mm-hmm. T-Bone's down last January, and they're just everywhere they went. They left just a great impression, because everybody, they're not there for them; they're there for everybody. The humor. That the humor is what I'm going to miss the most. They're just, Mike is the funniest of all of them, and they were all really. Mike is nonstop. Mike will just crack you up beyond. But David had the memory. David was able to tell you every single thing that happened, and it was just beyond entertaining. And it's heartfelt. There's no bullshit. They're just straight shooting. All heart. Yeah. And there's probably a lot of listeners here who actually have met David, even if not in person. You may have met him on our live streams, because pretty much every live stream we've done on Facebook since this started, even before the pandemic, if David wasn't there in person watching the show, he was in the live chat of the show, just having a great time and chatting with his friends and stuff. So you've probably seen his name. You've probably seen his name pop up there many times before. But I met David and Billy Carr before I even joined the band. They were twins, by the way.
Yeah, and they would come out pretty much every single show that Patrick played. And this was back in 2003, when after Patrick, actually no, I was coming to see you before you asked me to join the band. Yeah, so it's probably even before I knew I was joining the band. I went out and I met them at probably Brown O'Neill's. It could have been Shea, could have been McElroy's, it could have been Sláinte, which is where Molly's downtown is now. It could have been any of those places. But yeah, I remember meeting them there, and then knowing what important figures they were, and how much they loved Patrick's stuff, and how much the music meant to them. this music that I was only just then starting to become familiar with, because I didn't know anything about the Pogues. I didn't know anything about Thin Lizzy. I didn't know anything about Rebel songs or any of these things. I was
history, biology.
Yeah, right. So I was soaking it all in, to have them there at that time was, meant a lot. So when I actually did start playing and singing with Patrick early in January the following year, to have Billy and David and Mike come up to me and say, "Hey man, good job." And this was a story that David was fond of telling his brother Billy, who passed away 10 years ago.
9 years ago.
Was it 9 years ago?
9 years ago, yeah.
Wasn't the very first show, but I think it was the first time they saw me play, which was at Brian O'Neill's. And Patrick had thrown me the vocal for Dirty Old Town, which I was reluctant to sing at the time because I really loved the way Patrick sang it. He was like, no, you're singing it. Stop arguing with me. So I went home and I learned the lyrics, and like I usually do with most of the stuff I sing, I went and researched, I read about Ewan McCall, the guy who wrote it, why he wrote it and so forth. And so I sang the lyrics differently from how Patrick was singing. Because, as he just said, he has the tendency to change things, sometimes deliberately and sometimes just for no particular reason, really. And so Billy comes up to me after that set when I sang Dirty Old Town the first time and says, "Hey, man, that's the first time I've ever heard anybody sing the lyrics of that song correctly. Good job, man. That was really cool." And David still was telling me that story whenever we would be hanging out and talk. He said, Billy, when you heard you sing Dirty Old Town, you knew that you were good. So, and David came with us. He was intending to do it again, but I'm really, really happy he was able to make it with us to Ireland in 2019, which is the last time we went to Ireland. And I got to spend a lot of time with him. Sat next to him on the plane on one of those flights, as Patrick did as well. So I'm very, very happy to have those memories.
Yeah, and they entrusted us too with. They gave us some of Billy's ashes. Billy and David, obviously being twins, but they'd given us some of Billy's ashes to put in the Shannon, and we always did. And it's funny, we just did Broad Majestic for Billy at the Continental Club the last show, and just for those guys to let you. Do such a thing, and then, and obviously, Mulligan's now in Dublin is a part of our tour because of Billy, now David. So, they're larger than life, and they're big, every cliche you can think of, they are, but it means a lot more because they've been part of our lives for so long.
You mentioned that thing with the lyrics. That's the thing I'm going to miss about them the most. What I already missed about Billy, and I'm going to miss about David, is that every time you would change a word just to be silly in a song, which happens all the time. It's one of the fun things about being in this band. A lot of times those things fly over people's heads because either they don't know the words initially or they're just enjoying the music. And, David and Billy would always catch it. And I could never, it would never fail. I'd catch their eye after you do something and they'd be standing out there going, we heard it. So I'm going to miss that. Dearly.
And they also approved, the Eric that, you were Carr Brother approved. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Mike was Carr Brother approved. Chris Buckley was Carr Brother approved. Jeff was, and it kind of tapers off. It really did. I mean, and it was funny. They're sorely missed. And I feel extremely sorry for Mike. Because his last thing he said to me on the phone, he said, "I don't know what I'm going to do without him," and I know. So,
yeah,
David, this is for you.
I was thinking we could close the show. I have this great footage I got when we were on the tarmac.
Yeah,
we were stuck on the tarmac. We talked about this on the show before.
Yeah,
we were stuck on the tarmac in Houston at the airport when we got back from Ireland in 2019. And Patrick and our friend Doc and David and I were all in the back row, the very back row of the plane. David sitting next to Patrick across the aisle. And as we were stuck there for an hour or something, I think about 20 or 30 minutes into it, David just looks around and starts breaking into song, and he sings his own version of Waltz Across Texas, where he had in classic, Devlin kind of style, had changed a lot of the words and wrote his own little thing in the middle, this little poetic thing he says in the middle. And that was just a wonderful way to close out the trip. But I think we'll let David play us out on this episode.
Yeah.
For that clip.
Yeah. In the great words of Billy Ray Cyrus, stick it in there. Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, y'all.
Thanks. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Hey, be nice to each other. You don't fucking know.
Yeah. Get vaccinated.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Fairyland story come true. And when you look at me with them stars in your eyes, well, I could waltz across Texas with you. And waltz across Texas with you in my arms. Waltz across Texas with you. Like a story book ending, I'm lost in your charm. And I could waltz across Texas with you. Darling, I would swim the deepest ocean just to see your pretty blue eyes. I'd climb the highest mountain to hold your lily white hand. I would walk through a burning forest to kiss your ruby red lips. And darling, I will be able to see you Friday night if it don't rain. Yes, I can waltz across
operations, they notified us that the aircraft that's at our dam is just about ready to go up for a cell phone park. Cell phone's on.
He's in the outside waiting for you to come out with the luggage. It says it.